What is going down, everyone? I'm back, and this is Hype episode 271. We're ending out 2022. Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2023, but we're going to go over some of the best and the worst of 2022 in the hobby. Best product, worst product, best upcoming product. So lots of stuff to talk about. We also have This Week in the Hobby, where we're going to talk about Donovan Mitchell and the scrub Luka Doncic's performance and relay it to his cards. So we're going to talk about that. Lots of stuff. We got Leaf. Leaf can't sell product. They're doing their own breaks. We're going to talk about that as well. They just can't sell it through the distribution channel. They're out there ripping it themselves. Do you think that's okay? We're going to discuss that. That is coming up on this episode, which is going to be a spicy one. But I want to kick it off because we made a bet. Me and C-Rod made a bet. He was supposed to come in here wearing the Niners paint, the Niners jersey. I gave him a pass because it was a close game.
What do you mean Niners paint? Like what do you mean?
Paint his face.
I was thinking, you know what I would have been down for? Like painting my face like the Ultimate Warrior and like gold and red.
That would
have been sick.
Really
but
good.
then again, I was thinking about like, damn, it would spend a lot of time to wash my face off afterwards.
My question to you after actually watching a Raiders game this year is,
I barely watched
the Raiders have the best running back and the best receiver in the league. Doesn't Josh McDaniels need to get fired? So how do you run, or I mean, unless you're putting the whole thing on Derek Carr, how do you have the best receiver in the league and the best running back in the league and win 6 games?
And they actually don't really have
And the best,
they don't have a terrible offensive line.
and
either.
arguably the
Their
best
offensive line's
AFC, the best edge rusher
Yeah.
in the AFC, right?
Yeah, I think if you break it down, you boil it down, it probably does come a lot to do with play calling or game management, because they have 6 wins this year. 4 of them were lost in the very last quarter. So you give us those 4 games, we have 10
True,
wins.
that's 10, right?
We're at 10. So it'd be a whole different story if we were able to win those 4 games that are literally the Raiders are winning all 4 games down to the last possession.
Like you just can't turn the ball over. They needed to start kneeling down at like 4 minutes left.
Well, I think the argument, like when we were at the Rams game too, talking to the Raider fans at the Rams and Raiders game that Thursday we went together. Like I said, it's when we're up at the half, right? These are the games that we've lost. We're up at the half. They and a lot of teams do it. They take their foot off the gas, but then the play calling becomes so conservative to the point where it's like you're basically just like, hey, come back on us.
And I think that's the challenge. I don't know how McDaniel works, but I've seen a lot of this from Shanahan throughout the years. Is the first 15 script are like amazing. It's like end arounds.
I would say
like
that's
touchdown.
a consensus with any offensive-minded coach.
Right, but then the ability to pivot after that is like where the greats get lost, right? And I know we're doing our Homer talk here, so thank you guys for listening. But Raiders and Niners have only played like 15 times in history.
You know, they usually say new year, new me, but we're going to buck that trend big time.
Well, I mean, like I said, how often do the Niners play the Raiders? You know, it doesn't happen.
I mean, the rivalry like doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Like
It's a fan rivalry.
It's a fan rivalry, but those teams don't really have a rivalry against each other. Like, you don't think there's not Niner players who are like, man, I circled this one on the calendar. Besides, maybe they was in Vegas and they were like, I want to go to Vegas.
No, I mean, but you just have it's not a rivalry, but it's just if you live in the Bay Area,
fans care about
you
it.
have more friends that are Raiders fans than any other team if you're a Niner fan, and vice versa, right? I mean, 60% of the NFL fans are Niners fans. Let's face that. So if you're a Raider fan, you know a Niner fan. It's like somebody in your household more likely. But like, there's a lot of Niner fans out there, so it's just inevitable that you're going to have some kind of butting heads, even though it's AFC, NFC.
The good old days is like the JT O'Sullivan days when that wasn't the case. I mean, that bandwagon,
we're still
people
faithful.
jump. They jump on. It's Bay Area in general. Like, I think we can say Bay Area in general, like, when the bandwagon, when the gates open for the bandwagon, it fills up quick. You know, and then when you hit a little bit of a skid, like the Niners, if they do lose in the playoffs, you're gonna see very little Niner gear around. You walk down the street right now, it's just like Niners, losing the playoffs. It'll be Warriors.
Well, I actually, the more I've kind of watched some Rams games, I understand why you ask whose house it is, because you're not sure, because the Chargers play there half the year, and then when the other visiting teams come in, they have more fans. So you actually have to ask whose house it is because you're not sure. You know what I mean? Like, at least when you go to Levi, you're pretty positive.
The most
right, Cody?
sterile,
You're
the
pretty
most sterile
positive.
stadium in the history of all stadiums,
matter.
Levi Stadium.
That's right.
Just a real turd. Just a real turd. Real concrete turd.
Let's be honest. It's a nice polished turd.
It's a
nice.
Yeah, but it's still a turd at the end of the day.
It's a nice stadium.
I'm not gonna call it a turd,
top
actually.
10.
That's
Cody's
just a
like, it's
little-
my turd.
It is.
Exactly.
My turd.
I pay taxes on that stadium, so I think you do too. And you pay taxes on
I
that
don't.
stadium
I
as
don't.
well.
I live in Gilroy.
But you
I
pay
don't-
taxes here. So.
I maybe to California.
No, I mean the business is located in Santa Clara. So.
I actually have a stipulation with the CPA that I'm like, none of my money can go towards the Niners Stadium. Like I said before we went live, big fan of Great America. Maybe they can demolish that stadium, expand Great America theme park.
The place that's gonna close in 10 years.
Yeah.
No
Hey,
matter
well,
what?
the thing, I
build
mean,
another
I
log
love,
ride.
I love what is formerly Top Gun, now Flight Deck.
Sure.
Great, and it's sinking. It's sinking into the little pond.
As
over there.
everybody knows.
So let's take it out, remove Levi Stadium, send the Niners to Germany or Mexico City, wherever. Canada needs a team. Send them over there. Maybe Winnipeg. The Winnipeg Niners has a great ring to it.
Montreal,
a lot of gold
Montreal
mining in Winnipeg.
49ers.
And save Top Gun Flight Deck. Save it. And then just get rid of the Niners. We don't need that stadium. Go back to Candlestick or
Seems
playing-
like Dan's 2023
playing-
2023 resolution was to do peyote.
Could we
Was
get
to,
is Kezar? That's probably gone, right? We can't get them there.
No, keys are still up there.
Okay,
Not
okay.
quite what it used to be.
cool.
Because
Because I mean, that place held like 20,000 people.
yeah, man,
That's fine. When the Niners go back to winning 3 games, that'll be at half capacity.
So I want to hear you guys. Also, make sure you follow the Mojobreak Hype community on Facebook. We're 90 members strong. We're just starting out, but contribute to the conversation there. I want to know what your guys' New Year's collecting resolutions are in 2023. Is it going to be buy more, buy less, buy singles, buy breaks? What are your collecting goals? And if you're buying into breaks, you got to go over to mojobreak.com. If you're like, my resolution is to buy more wax, you got mojobreakshop.com, where the prices are always competitive on anything on the site, whether it be Pokemon, whether it be hockey, basketball, football, baseball. Head on over to there. And this brings me into talking about the new releases. Today, as we sit and record this on Wednesday, the 4th of January, we have 2022 Topps Chrome F1 and 2022 XR football. Now, Cody, you ripped some Topps Chrome. What separates this year's Topps Chrome from the last 3 years of F1 Chrome?
Well, I think initially the very first thing I noticed is a lot harder to hit autos out
Okay.
of this year's product. So that, to me, is a good thing, especially because there are going to be less chases. I think Zhao Guan Yu is like the one big rookie chase from what I'm gathering, from what I've been researching. And he may be one of like 2 rookies in the entire product. So I think you have to do something like scarcity when it comes to autos. Also, there are these great looking, you saw, if you're watching, you see it on the slide, these really great looking like Grand Prix poster cards that are I think a case hit, maybe even less than that. That are really nice. So definitely trying. I think they're going more towards like keeping it real scarce, real tough chases to try to drive that
Yeah, because
that
that's
interest.
always been my thought too, and I'm glad that they at least have done that, because not many drivers switch every year, right? So it's kind of like the same. Lewis Hamilton's like, it's his seat until he wants to give
And
it
if
up,
and you got like what F1 and F2, right?
Yeah, F1 and F2 are both.
So
are all
is
of
the
it.
rookie from F2 or from F1?
I believe it's an F1. He's an F1 rookie.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks like from Alfa Romeo, right? It looks like
Yep.
based on the slide here.
Yep.
So that's cool. I mean, yeah, and you know what the good thing about it too is it's not, skyrocketing in price where your value proposition is very low. Because I mean, F1 Chrome originally, what did it go all the way up to, like $4,000 a box? I know that's the first edition, but you miss out on some Lewis Hamilton cards. You're getting absolutely slaughtered. Whether this is going to be $229 to $250-ish, I think Topps has it at $300. It's a better value proposition for your money. Now, the other release, 22 XR football, absolute horrible value proposition because there's no Brock Purdy in the set. So they missed the boat here on this product. 22 XR,
That's okay because Kenny Pickett is better.
2022.
Tiny hands. Tiny hands pick it.
Tiny hands could be in the
Tiny
playoffs,
hands.
though.
Tiny hands.
Yeah.
And I know, and I'm just saying that because I actually want the sales to slow down a little bit, and maybe it'll last past the weekend for you. So like maybe if I trash
No
on it a
doubt.
little bit, it'll.
I've always thought of XR, at least what it's been like the last 3-4 years. I think we talked about. It's kind of like NT Light. It's like it is like NT with like the shields and like the prime patches and very cool aspects. Not a base heavy set. I think there's only 2 packs in it, 4 hits. But it's kind of like a valued version of National Treasures.
XR.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah,
take.
and
That's my take on
It's
it.
a great,
it's a hot take.
It's a great breaking product, to be honest. I mean, it's got the hits. It's a quick rip. Was we still doing 15-box cases, 16-box cases on it?
It's we did 14
believe it's
and
14.
then I think
14.
just to stretch it out, we do half case.
Right,
7.
so 7s.
It's a weird case quantity.
No, I know it used to be 16, didn't it? And it was 15 or
yeah.
something. They've changed it. It's definitely been 15. I don't know if
Playbook
it's
used to
been
be
16.
15, right? Playbook used to be 15. Limited, I know, is a weird number too. Limited.
No, I
is
thought
like
Playbook
14.
at one time there was 2 inners, and you couldn't have 2 inners if it was 15.
Oh, you're right. 16 box case.
And I
Master
know
case.
from YG breaking some cases on YouTube, Mojobreak.com this morning, I think he said he was getting a lot of one-on-ones, which is typical with XR.
Typical XR.
A lot of, there's a lot of shields.
Yeah.
It's a product. If you're about getting those shields, XR is that product for you.
All right. Well, check out the website, Mojobreak.com, where everything is scheduled. Everything is guaranteed to break. There are busted live on YouTube. So get your spots in XR. We're also doing, you can find F1 Chrome. We were doing some personals of that earlier. So look for those on Mojobreak.com. Donovan Mitchell, 71 points, which is the 7th ever to score 70-plus points in a game. I know his cards have pretty much fallen off, and it doesn't seem like anybody cares about Donovan Mitchell's cards. Is it better? Let me ask you guys a question. Is it better that he's in Cleveland now for his cards?
I think it's always it kind of hurts the value to change.
Yeah, but
the team that he was
but it
drafted
seemed like
by, right?
Utah is the team on the West Coast that plays at 7:00. And people were just watching the Warriors. Or if you're not watching the Warriors, you're watching the Lakers. You're watching the Clippers. The Blazers and the Jazz were like the teams that nobody watched. So I felt like that translated on his cards, right?
And apologies to any listeners from Salt Lake City or Utah.
Yes.
But frankly, Utah, the Jazz have never been like, whether it's cards, whether it's like, remember the All-Star draft where LeBron even said nobody picked the Jazz in NBA Jam. You just, even those Malone and Stockton,
Dude,
you wouldn't pick them.
we don't play it very often out there, but I was gonna say
They're good.
NBA Jam. That's my go-to team.
All right, well then, Dan, you're the
Why-
one. You're the one and only.
Why would you not want Stockton?
Because you could have Shaq and
Sure.
Penny.
But
Mailman.
Kemp and Peyton.
There has always been that where they are just inherently seen as like, oh, they're that team in Utah. They're the not cool team. Why do I care? Why would I want to collect them? And I think that, going to Cleveland, which is funny to say, but hey, that's the whole, the Cavs identity is completely
saying
changed.
that-
I know.
You're saying Cleveland is hipper than Salt Lake City.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm just saying.
I don't disagree.
I'm just.
So yes,
disagree.
I think this does help him going to Cleveland.
I think it does too, and I know the jersey change thing does go against him, but I think Cleveland's going to have more primetime games. It's going to be more widely watched. It's just that West Coast time zone. I mean, we've seen it with our teams around here. It's just, people go to bed at the East Coast. If you're going to watch a West Coast game, it's like you're starting to watch it at 10, and it's on a Tuesday.
But the
and you're like,
Jazz
"Yeah, I'll watch
home
that
the
game."
Jazz home games won't be there. They wouldn't be at 7
Be
o'clock.
mountain time.
It'd be mountain time.
Yeah.
So
No, so maybe so 2 hour difference then. So still your game starting at 9.
One
then?
hour.
One hour.
One
1
hour
hour
difference.
Pacific.
No, I'm saying from the East Coast. It's
Oh,
been 1
yeah,
hour.
Two
yeah,
hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah. I'm saying
sure,
from us,
sure,
but I'm
sure.
saying from the East Coast.
2 hours.
Where most sports is digested is on the East Coast, right?
Right.
It's always the East Coast bias. I think not a lot of people besides West Coast people are watching the Jazz games. So that's my
Unless you're
theory.
betting.
if even then,
If even then, yeah.
That's their best.
Exactly.
If even
I mean, I'm on the West Coast. I don't watch Jazz games.
No,
unless
I've
they're
never
playing the
watched a
Warriors.
Jazz game in prime time.
Does this change anything for the 17-18 class? I know we've been doing. I think Greg's been doing a lot of the status 17-18 status breaks, which have been really fun. Does this change anything for the 17-18?
We talk a lot about Tatum, but we don't talk a lot about Mitchell.
No, we don't. And I feel like this changes things. Tatum still obviously feels like the guy compared to the two, but like I think the gap between the two of them is way, way smaller than it was.
Safe to say.
You talking about
for
skill wise or
I'm
hobby
talking
wise?
hobby. Skill wise.
I think there's a huge gap still.
Well, I
You
mean,
think it's
you can
between-
make an
I
argument.
think I like
you-
Tatum a
You
lot.
can make an
Okay.
argument that Tatum is
One of the best players in the
one
NBA.
of the
No,
like,
yeah,
one of
absolutely.
the best players in the league right now.
Yeah.
Where Mitchell has to be a top 20 player.
He's one of the
in
best
league, right?
offensive players. Yeah,
There,
sure.
yeah. Then
But
there's
you gotta
the distinction.
put him in. I mean, you can put Mitchell on a good team, and I mean, put Mitchell on the Lakers. What happens?
As of 24 hours ago, the league did a random PED test on Donovan Mitchell. So,
Random, huh?
Random PED test on
Nice.
Donovan Mitchell. He was 22 for 34 that day, 7 for 15 for 3-pointers.
Steroids make you shoot better.
Yep.
Apparently,
Yeah.
make you do a lot of things.
More
better.
range.
Well,
More range.
I feel like Donovan Mitchell has been in the same category as Dame Lillard, and maybe that's the Pacific Northwest kind of the West Coast kind
Dame
of thing.
Lillard is. I think.
I like Damian
I think.
Lillard
I think.
better,
I think
but-
the NBA has marketed Damian Lillard a lot better than they marketed Donovan
Totally
Mitchell.
have. And I'll say it. I think it's because Utah. Now he's out of Utah.
We're saying Portland is
But
basketball
I think
town.
Damian
Yeah,
Lillard
that's
has
right.
made a name for himself regardless of the location, where I feel like Donovan Mitchell did not make a name for himself in Utah, even though he was widely known.
I
but
do think comparing those two, if you're from the Bay Area, you're a little biased with Damian
That might
Lillard
also be it.
because he is from this area. So we may be looking at it with that type of bias as well. But I do feel that he has been marketed better to the NBA than Donovan
is
Mitchell.
before we move on to Kevin Love, can we talk about the?
Why
Can
are we
can
doing
we?
that?
Are we buying or are we selling Donovan Mitchell?
I'm selling.
I'm
Can I? Yeah, I guess I'm selling.
not even thinking about him.
Damn. Not even on the radar.
Well, and the Cavaliers are 4 seeds, so
He's
I mean,
He's not even the Cav that he's trying to buy over here.
Listen,
Yeah, actually,
He's not
what?
Kevin Love.
Yeah, there you go, Kevin Love. I was gonna say Garland probably. The
yeah,
better
like
buy of that
you know,
on the
like we
Cavs
always
right
talk, like you gotta have some, like Donovan will obviously score buckets, right? But you gotta have a little bit of flash, right? I think that's also the difference maker between him and Dame. Like Dame has some flash,
Yep.
pizzazz to him. You know what I mean?
There's
Like,
also Damian Lillard has had legitimately like iconic moments in his career.
and this is
I know he hasn't gone far.
First one, right?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
number one. It's a big one, but it's number
71
one.
is cool. Like I mean, Devin Booker got 70 the other year, right? And
Was
then
it 70? Huh?
It was exactly
70.
70.
in a
yeah.
loss, if I'm not mistaken.
True.
right?
And this one was a win, right? So
Yeah, overtime win.
So
They had
yeah,
to put they had to put up 140, right?
Even on the I will say
like that.
this: Cavs is one of them. I do like to watch the Cavs. They're a fun young team to watch. But yeah, like even on the Cavs, he's probably not the most like you're probably watching a couple other guys, maybe right, like you said, like Garland, for in terms of like flash on that team. So
yeah, it's. I mean, they definitely have put the LeBron James era in the rear view for this season, though. So be
LeBron
excited.
probably coming there next year. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he probably will.
I like how like we just really downplayed the fact that scoring 71 in the NBA is just like
Well,
not that big of a deal.
So this is
It's
something.
easy.
This is something I've been seeing recently. Is there are Giannis just scored 55 literally last night.
Yeah.
There have been. I cannot remember this many
High score, yeah.
50-point
Yeah,
games to this point in
Didn't
the
Clay
season.
just
Clay had
score?
53?
He scored
Yeah.
54
Dude,
the
this-
same night that Donovan Mitchell scored 71.
Dan, this is the reason why I'm not like going crazy over it, because in the modern NBA, it does seem like guys are getting up there more often, and guys can probably get 80 if like they're not benched in the fourth quarter,
Right.
for the most part.
So
Right.
so what is happening? Is it because
There's been rule changes the last few
rule
years.
changes?
It's modern NBA, and guys are shooting more threes.
Basically, the defense you can't do anything to defend them at this point. Like if you touch them, my thing is, and I think they're doing a better job of it, but for years, the guys who are chucking up threes, Curry's one of them, and then like basically throw their legs out, and it just have some type of they literally throw their legs out to initiate the contact, and it's a foul on the defense. Three free throws.
Now that has been limited the last few years. They have cracked down on that.
That is ridiculous. I mean, that was a ridiculous like rule that they had to look at, because once Curry was doing it, everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
Curry did it like more elegantly. I think guys were starting to force it, but I mean, not that I'm saying
he did it the right way.
But yeah, he did it the right way.
Steph does everything the right way.
If you are not a Warrior fan, you don't understand.
People just
you do
threw
not
their
understand.
phone across the room.
Yeah, you're just like, you're all, how is there a right way of doing it? Like, actually, the one thing I will say, when Curry would do it, you would be concerned if he was hurt, because he would hit the floor pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like, you just chuck it up, just like, bam! And you're all,
Honestly, I think that $9,000 price on that RPA, granted it is a 9.5, but the interesting thing is that a 45 pop of 9.5s? Did we confirm that, or is that just total
I believe
pop?
so, yeah. No,
Of his true RPA?
Of
NT?
just 9.5? There's only 99 made, so that means half of them scored a
No,
9.5?
maybe I don't know then. I
Okay.
have to double check that.
Yeah,
That's all.
that just means all of them graded, but
Right.
But I think we sold ours for like $2,000 or $3,000 or something like that. Granted, it was not a great patch.
It was not
but-
his rookie year either, though, right?
No, it was NTRPA.
His rookie. I remember his rookie year RPA was selling for at least 4.
Maybe it was around
35
there. I just
4.
remember we were struggling for it to ever go up, and he was having good games. So I was like,
That's a 45 pop, by the way, on that.
on the 9.5 or on the
Or I think, well, maybe not on the 9.5, but on that NTRPA.
in the BGS grading there.
Yeah.
In the grading.
that's only BGS.
well,
So that, basically, you're telling me that all of them been pulled, essentially. There's none sitting out in the wild.
Well, unless they were regraded, right? So, and everybody that was 17-18, so RPAs were still there was probably very few going to PSA, right?
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think I'm selling. I think this is if you get 9,000 for this, that's crazy. I mean, I think you got to sell right away. So, let's move on to Kevin Love of the Mavericks. Luka, first ever 60+ point triple double on December 27th.
I see what you did. I see what you're putting down. I'm picking it up.
It's a guy that's
I'm picking it up.
Obviously, plays hero ball.
That's actually the best comparison I've ever heard.
He's Kevin Love.
He is
Kevin Love. A little slower. A little slower than Kevin Love.
Not as
Lord.
athletic. Not as athletic. He's a.
It almost seems
he's a sluggish Kevin Love.
Luka could make you know how people come out when they say like the NBA's rigged, like he's a perfect example of it, like because he's so slow and it's like how is he putting up 60? He's so slow. It's like I think it's rigged. I think
He's
it's
just
rigged.
a guy. He's just a guy that you would see at the local pickup game.
Yeah.
Just, I mean,
Everybody just
he
turned
is
off their video.
He
just
is
right
like he's the best guy at like a 40 and over pickup.
We
game
just
at
lost
your-
half
I'll
our
take
listeners
I'll
right
take
now.
Woody Harrelson
little
over
rec
over
league
Luka.
action.
I'm convinced this is a bit at this point.
Woody Harrelson.
I'm convinced this is not real.
I mean, what's on his arm? Does he do the therapy that the suction therapy there? Does that make him shoot
Probably
better?
what he's doing. Yeah.
Suction therapy.
Well, I agree with you. He's a scrub.
I mean, they are the 4th seed though. Let's give them that. I mean, the Warriors are coming, but they are 22 and 16. I think Luka accounted for 21 of those wins, maybe. Cause
It's crazy. It's crazy that they're doing that well when they lost their superstar in the offseason.
they did.
Who?
Jalen Brunson.
Oh,
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna be like Kristaps Porzingis or something.
No, I mean,
Well, he's having a good season.
Who was the player of the
second-
week? Same
the
week
second,
as Luka.
the second best player on their team.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely need a Robin, or they could just continue to be the Batman team with Luka. But, I mean, he is averaging 34 points. He is the hobby's golden god.
I mean, the run.
Sell, buy. What do you guys
The
think?
run he's
Bye.
on right now.
Bye.
bye still.
Like,
Wow.
it's so much.
You've recovered like all your losses from last year almost. Well, maybe not all of them, but
No, he's still down.
he's still down.
Yeah, he is.
1,900 on
But everybody is down.
yeah.
So I'm buying.
Ugh.
It's pop 70,
You know, let's revise our strategy here. Like when I say buy, like don't go out and buy like necessarily like his Silver Prism base card. Buy stuff that is like low numbered. You know what I mean?
What do you guys, Cody and C-Rad here? Where do you rank
Team Luka.
Yeah.
Let's clarify that. Let's
Fine.
clarify that.
Great.
Clearly.
Great.
Where do you guys rank Luka amongst all active NBA players right now?
Right now?
Top
Yes.
3.
Yeah. Top 3, top 5. I'd probably go top 5.
On his team?
Top 3 in
the NBA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably even lean top 3.
What does it go? Was it Steph? Well, Steph's hurt. Obviously.
I mean,
I
Jokic.
think there's guys on the bottom
Giannis.
of the back end of the bench on the Mavericks that are probably a little bit better than him.
KD's having an incredible year right now.
If I'm being biased, obviously, like Steph's on that list.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Steph healthy is on that list for sure.
yeah.
So that's why I probably go top 5. For
Clay and Dre, top 3.
number 4.
Jordan Poole.
Come on, Looney.
If I'm not being biased, it's like Steph,
Dante
Giannis,
DiVincenzo.
and Luka Doncic.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't Embiid. We're just like
Embiid's that's probably the 5.
Embiid's probably
Gilgeous?
Embiid's like 5. Jokic is like 4. Okay, if we're gonna go, we're gonna expand it. Yeah, I'll add Jokic and Embiid.
where is your boy Luka? Is Luka 1?
No, Steph is 1.
Steph is 1. What about you?
Giannis is 2. Luka is 3.
Cody?
I don't know. Look, I don't like ranking things, but if I had to give you 5, it's probably Steph.
I mean, it's part of the segment.
Steph, Luka. This is in no particular order. Steph, Luka, KD, Giannis, then Jokic, Embiid.
That's cool. Now put them in order.
Yeah.
I mean, Jokic. Yeah, I know. But
Who's 1? Is it Curry or is it Luka or is it Giannis?
It's Curry.
I'm still
Always
putting
number
Curry
1.
because of
Because he's better.
titles and what he has done, what he's accomplished in his
Bro,
career.
what he, like the fact before he got injured, what he was doing to carry our team this year, like
I also feel like
ridiculous.
the fact that we haven't
At
even
his
said
age.
LeBron James' name, considering what he's doing at his age.
Well, LeBron is better than Luka.
Yeah, that's close.
I
agree
mean,
with you there.
right now in this very moment,
no.
Yes.
no,
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
All right, LeBron might get like 6 or 7 on my list.
I'm having a tough time
For
ranking.
current guys, don't come at me.
Current.
Don't at me because I'm like, nah, I'm not talking about all time. I'm talking about current day NBA LeBron at 40 years
Here,
old.
January
He's number
4th,
6 or 7.
He's
2023.
He's good.
I'm having a hard time ranking Luka above Tyrese Halliburton. Like that's where my
kind of
where it's.
Well,
what,
I mean,
like
you compared him to
20,
Kevin Love, so
19.
I could see that.
I mean, Tyrese Halliburton leading the league in assists. So I mean, you just,
Halliburton's having a hell of a year.
He's having a great year.
I'm thinking like Luka or like Ty Jerome. Like I'm trying to.
Who?
Yeah. I'm like, hey, I mean, it's up and down there.
You want to talk about trolling here?
Troll in.
thinking Luka, Mike.
I don't even know who Ty Jerome is.
He's on the Warriors.
He's on the Warriors. He is on the Warriors.
I don't know who that guy is, dude. That's how bad. That's how.
Look, if Doug and Dan were in charge of the Mavericks, he'd be like, Luka needs to go to the G League for a little season.
I would have released him.
I would have called up.
I would have basically went, sorry, like we need to move on from.
I'd call up Delonte West, give him another shot, and be like, Luka, you're going down.
Okay. Look, I know
I'd
part of this is
I'd
joking.
suit up Cuban. I'd be like,
I-
you're in.
I know part of this is joking around, but if Luka's prices were like, well, it would be crazy. I don't even know where to compare him.
If Luka was like Donovan Mitchell prices.
Yeah, let's just throw that.
I honestly.
Where
think-
would you feel
I think
about
what
him?
this really stems like. Doug and I, as Mojobreak, we buy cards. We were buying a lot of Luka at like the peak, and I think we probably still have some. So, Luka's been pretty tough to us financially.
But that ain't Luka's fault.
Oh, it is.
I mean,
I have nobody to blame. I either blame myself or I got to blame Luka. And today I'm going Luka.
but I mean,
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah, I
that-
mean, in all
can't you-
seriousness, I'm
can't
glad
you-
he's having a really
can't
good
you just
season.
say that like about like 90% of your card portfolio is just down in general?
No, it's all Luka's fault
It's
in general.
it's mostly. I would actually say percentage-wise, what we do have in Luka is probably down the most.
That's
from where we
fair.
bought it.
Yeah. I mean, Kyler might be a pretty big one.
Kyler,
too.
yeah, I
Murray.
mean, but I still like Kyler though. I just don't.
I don't like color.
I also like the Luka. I don't understand the hobby and the infatuation
The love
with
yeah.
with
So-
it. Like I don't over everybody else. Like Luka could do no wrong.
I mean, but he is justifying to his fanboys this year so far. But if
Every
he
year,
doesn't
not
get
just this year,
if
every
he doesn't
year.
get to the NBA Finals this year, it's another bust. Right?
No.
He has to
See,
get
no,
to the final.
again, it's the Luka fanboys. Like he
No.
can't do no wrong.
Right.
Like it's
No.
he basically gets knocked out in the first round. It's like,
But he
well,
doesn't
there's
get
al-
knocked out in the
it-
first
there-
round. That's the thing.
There's always next year.
Again, the
There-
way
He doesn't get knocked out in the
the
first
fact
round, though.
that
The second round,
Even he's got to get to the finals this year.
third round, it doesn't matter. You don't.
It does
you don't win a
because-
championship. Why even show up to the playoffs?
It does because it shows that he's improving every single year. He gets deeper into the playoffs every single year with less than a lot of these other guys have. Like I give him this. I said this time ago. I give him the same timeline as Giannis. Because Giannis was selling for crazy, the same thing like Luka before he even had ever won anything, years before he had won anything. So I give him the same timeline to win a championship.
So he's
basically
got like 2 more years.
He's got like 3. Well, how old is Luka? He's what, 23, 24?
4 years of
Young.
draft classes separate them, right? When did Giannis win? 2 years ago?
Yeah, 20.
He didn't win last year. He won the year
21,
before.
21.
Kind of moves around like he's like
21,
39.
So he's got about 2 more years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's-
he does. Look
Drafted
old.
in 13, won in 21.
22.
And he was by far the most expensive player in the hobby for like.
Yeah, Dan does actually bring a good point. I might have a Miguel Tejada. Like, hey, where'd you find that? He's like 35. That's why he was playing in Latvia when he was 16.
We don't
he was
know.
really 25.
No, and he does. I mean, I think the fuel to the fire, like it just helps his market.
Oh man,
so he goes off. He had like 60 points, 20 boards, whatever stat line it was pretty ridiculous. Then he's like, I want to have a post game beer. I think everybody, like the hobby's just like, I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah. If anything,
wrong.
can't
every
relate to
single
that?
year, like, so your guys, like, Luka's cards obviously are down a lot, but he's also probably bounced back the most out of a lot of your cards as
No,
well.
that's true. It's true.
And then on top of that, I get even
Zion.
more bullish on Luka every single year I watch him because of his age, whatever it is, like 23 years old. Like, my God, what is he going to look like at 27, which is the peak age of most NBA players?
True. Speaking of it, I know Dan just brought it up before we move on. Zion out for 3 weeks again.
Zion's hurt.
So he just cannot. The guy, and he was having like the best season of his career.
Of course.
Best-
And
Of
the
course.
Pelicans are good.
Of course, when Zion's playing, he looks like the best NBA player ever. Every single time he's played, but
What a
like
bummer.
that's when he plays, though.
What a bummer. Speaking of a bummer, is Leaf doing breaks, and I want to ask you guys: is this a conflict of interest? Are you okay with a manufacturer running their own breaks? And this is clearly happening on Whatnot. I think a little bit on Loop, where Brian Gray is actually opening up products of like Leaf Decadence, which is widely distributed. We have some cases. How does he keep that transparent? How do we know that he didn't give himself the best boxes? It's in his best interest. If he's selling it at retail, he's making more money than he's selling it at wholesale.
Yeah, if I'm a consumer and I know the manufacturer is going to be selling and ripping my box live, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it from them as opposed to like buy it from an online retailer and have it shipped to me.
Right. So
It's kind of a no-brainer, right?
maybe there should be, and I haven't watched these yet, so that's why I asked on Twitter, and it was crickets. I know I only have 700 followers for my personal account, but I asked, is there a way that these are becoming transparent? Like if the boxes were numbered, and before he shipped out our case, he did a random to see what cases he was then internally receiving. Maybe that's transparent. Maybe that's good enough. But it doesn't feel that way. So I want to know, how are they transparent? And how does this look to all your customers? Mojobreak's been opening Leaf product for the last 10 years. So how does it look to us that you are now opening your own product? That looks like you can't sell your products. If you're a manufacturer, you're not going to open your own product. Is Topps opening up their own product? Is Panini opening up their own product? Is Upper Deck opening? No. So it looks very untransparent by doing this. It also makes people like us not want to support the lines anymore. I mean, honestly, a lot of our dead stock has been Leaf product this year. So, and then the fact that now you are now opening up your own products.
Yeah, if you're a manufacturer, you that's what you are. You kind of pick your lane, right? You're either going to be a manufacturer, you're going to be a distributor, you're going to be a wholesaler, you're going to be a retailer. But you can't, unfortunately, you just can't wear all the hats.
Well, and you also can't give. As
far as transparency.
There's already this cloud of like breakers get the best boxes, right? So now, if I was a customer of this product and I bought it and I got a bad box, which is going to happen, people get bad boxes. 90% of the boxes don't pay for, or even more, pay for the cost of the box. Now you have another reason to blame that. You're like, the guy that makes the product is opening it. So I have a stacked deck against me as a customer that I am not involved, A, with a breaking company, or B, not breaking with the manufacturer. So don't give anybody reason to feel they got screwed in a chance hobby that we're in.
Yeah, I'm not for it.
Anybody else have a take on it? It's gonna let me be the bad guy. Huh?
No, hey man, I jumped on with you.
I think we all agree with you.
I've been hanging out and agreeing with Doug for 40 minutes now.
We're all
except for the Niner situation. We've been on board today.
No, I think everything you said rings true. Like it's just kind of like when you see it, it's just sort of obvious.
We were just waiting for the hot take, and it was just crickets.
You don't want to you don't want to interrupt the blowtorch. You don't want to get in the line of fire of a flamethrower. So you just kind of stand back and let it run its course.
And flaming, I did flame it up. I just, I am an ambassador of transparency in this hobby ever since day one. And not just me, all of us in this room have been ambassadors of transparency. We make our own buybacks. We don't make our own cars, but we make our own buybacks. We figure out the way to be the most transparent with our buybacks, whether it be randoming the cases, whether it be randoming the spots, whether it be, doing a video, kind of
a video. And for every product that we've ever made, we do a video, and Doug will pack it. I will number it sight unseen. I don't know what's in the boxes.
And that's videotaped before the first.
And we
case is
literally
done.
record that and timestamp that. So if anybody ever wants to see that, they can see that.
And you can't say the same about these guys on Whatnot that are doing their own buybacks, flamethrowers. I think only one company does that product. And are they coming out of a case? Are they numbered? To me, it's okay,
there's a lot of room for what we like to call hanky panky.
Yeah, there's just
in the old buyback
it's a
category.
technical term there.
There's hanky panky.
There is buybacks are getting a bad name. I know we're pivoting to that, but buybacks are getting a bad name because the people that are doing them aren't transparent enough. Regardless if they're doing hanky panky or not, it opens yourself. If you don't think about what customers can think about ahead of time, what does this make? How can I make this transparent that customer doesn't think I'm screwing them? You have to think about that. And if you don't, then it's just going to look like you're screwing them. Oh, hey Dan, give me $500. Okay, here's a $200 card, Dan. You're happy with that? Give me $500 and I'll give you a $200 card, because that's the transactions that are happening.
I think it's actually worse than that, but
that's actually a good day, right?
Give me $500 and I will give you a $50 card back.
100%.
But yeah, creating buybacks, and you've done this for years and years and years. It is hard. It is not easy to create your own buybacks. So I definitely understand that, but you gotta be transparent. You gotta have value in it.
Yeah, you have to be running on a 5 to 10% margin, if that. Sometimes your cards are dipping too, so maybe you're not even making any margin.
Yeah, especially in situations like this, where the market fluctuates so much and it's going down quick or going back up quick. It is hard to navigate and be able to buy correctly at the right price.
Exactly. So Cody, this is our best and the worst of 2022. Kick it off.
The best and worst of the year. Yeah, well, that's something we always do at the beginning of each year. So this week we will announce our nominees. Now, also, before we move forward, think of this like when at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, they're given all right, here's a list of players. And then you kind of all debate okay, this guy belongs, this guy doesn't. So this nominee list is sort of a starting point. If we all think that's great, that's the nominee list, we'll lock it in. But this is ripe for debate. So with that in mind, we're going to start things off with the nominees for the best overall product, which our tentative list that we have come up with. I think Doug and I discussed this as well as we tried to get stuff from a bunch of different sports. 2021 flawless basketball. I think you have to include it, considering the chase this year, everything that happened this year. It was a huge story.
The largest modern day card in history, probably.
Yeah, I think it just has to be on
at least throw the hype that was associated while that card was. People were searching for that card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think any of us in this room have seen anything quite like it.
No.
And the fluctuating of that product. Remember what those cases were going for at one point? It was
it brought a lot of attention to the hobby.
$40,000 a case.
Yeah, we bought some at that price.
Yeah, we probably still got it.
Yeah. That was going to be on there.
We don't do a lot of. We don't win a lot. We don't win a lot. That's why we don't give you a like card investing advice. Because it would be, this is how you lose.
We win when our customers win, when the people who support us win. That's what we
batting about $1.80.
Yeah, but trying to speculate. Well, we're batting 100 and taking care of the customer, but
exactly.
But
we're batting 1,000.
You mean 1,000, right? Because
I
bat 100. So
I went from a percentage.
Sure, 100%.
One out of 10 at bats, we hit a home run for you.
Which, I mean, not to go on a tangent, it is kind of stupid that they have that extra zero, because a guy that bats 340 is batting 34%.
Sure.
So I don't know why we throw in the extra zero there.
Yeah, you're right. It sounds better.
Ask Cody. He's a baseball guy.
Yeah,
Why?
It sounds better. This comes down to that. Just sounds better. Just sounds better.
It does sound better. Imagine if
he bats 34.
Imagine if they were like, well, he's having a great year. He's batting 34%.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
Sounds terrible.
No, that's
340
that's an
sounds
MVP
great.
season.
But I mean, that does not make for good ratings.
Yep, exactly.
You're like,
but if that's all we knew,
he's probably going to make the All-Star team. He's batting 28%.
I mean, that's probably what it comes down to, is that somebody realized if you say they're batting 34%, that sounds bad.
You throw 280?
Yeah.
You throw
280.
100 in there. It sounds like
Yeah,
way
but
better.
they don't say
340.
that Brock Purdy threw for 660. He completed 66%
Right,
of his
because it doesn't
passes.
sound as bad. 34% sounds terrible.
Man, yeah.
Sounds awful.
But 340 sounds like you.
That's an all-star, folks. That's a Hall of Famer.
That is a Hall of Famer right
Hall of
there.
Famer.
But if you're batting 34%, you're a scrub.
But see, but if that's all we knew, if we grew up and was like, oh yeah, Will Clark batted, 28%. You're like, oh, okay.
Man, that sounds terrible. The more you say it, the more I'm like, wow, I'm glad we figured this out. I'm glad we figured this out early on.
Again, we'll get back on track, but I did see a video of recently of Deion Sanders talking about the hardest sports. He was asked straight up, football or baseball, what was harder? He said, easily, baseball. It's like the fact that you can fail 7 out of 10 times and be the best player in the world. It's like, that's why he's like, it was the most challenging. That's why I wanted to keep doing it. Like, baseball was harder. So,
But they could have, totally on a tangent, but it's got my brain
is.
going, is they could have took the opposite approach to the pitcher and said that he got an out 80% of the time. That would sound good.
yeah.
Because the guy that has a 2 ERA, right? That means he's getting 80%, pretty much, well, not exactly on the ERA, but like 80% of the time he's getting an out. 90% of the time he's getting an out.
Yeah, could be.
That does not make people want to tune in. No, again, like people are not like, man, I want to watch a lot of pitching.
Yeah.
I love it.
We want to. People want to see home runs.
They do.
So
Chicks dig the long ball. All right. What are our other nominees?
1.5% of the time this player hits a home run.
All right, let's quickly go through the rest of the nominees. And again, once I finish it, throw products at me that you guys think belong on this that we did not mention.
Sure.
I tried to throw in something because we did have a lot of high,
like literally,
just chuck it at my head. I'll block it. I'll be like that lady at Waffle House if you guys see that video. Tried to throw in stuff that was because we noticed we're getting a lot of high end stuff because we threw in 2021 NT football as well. Another flagship one with a huge rookie class. Got to throw that one in. Threw in 2021 select football. This is one that I was vouching for because I think the XRC stuff really took it to another level this year. And it's of these products a little more on the more affordable side. 2022 Bowman Chrome I think was a great release for baseball collectors this year. Great international prospects. Huge rookie chases as well. And then Prism World Cup Soccer as well with some really awesome short prints. Dan, not quite in agreement with that one.
I mean,
all right.
every 4 years.
Open up the debate.
yeah,
You got to throw it in there.
But
Let's
I
open up the
I feel like the checklist was a little expanded on that one.
we had to have all the
It
teams
was.
in there.
It was.
Yeah, they did.
There's 32 teams. Well, wait till 4 more years when they have 48 teams. It's gonna be huge. 48 teams.
I don't have to vote. I don't have to vote for that for my favorite or the best.
Is there any product on there, Dan, that you feel like is like not on there?
Before we go further, I do want to say there are products that I have in the debut products, Rookie of the Year, that I did not put on this one that maybe.
Oh, so there's you have a debut.
Yes, we got
section?
we got Rookies of the Year coming up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Anything I'm missing?
Nothing. I really do like, and the select with the XRCs, I think, was the one thing that really did, hate the phrase, but change the game with select going forward. If they can figure out, I mean, again, we're going to be at the mercy of when the product can come out. the product was pushed back so far and so late that they were actually able to get those rookie cards included.
Mm-hmm.
But just, I think I said it before, imagine if we were like had an amazing rookie class and XRCs were live.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Well, I mean, that might be the plan going forward if they push it all the way at the end of the calendar year.
Yeah, I want to add that I don't think you necessarily had to push for the select to be on the list. I personally, before like coming up with my own list in my head, I think 2021 select is the best product of last year. I hands down is the best product from last year across the board in terms of like value compared to the high end stuff, and then the combination of the two draft classes, and then select is already a MVP, people's favorite product every single year for the most part, anyways, especially football collectors. I think when it boils down to it, it's either the best product of the year or it's in the conversation of like the top three. So I think you're good there.
Yeah.
The only one that I would like to add to the list, and if you guys know me, longtime listeners. No, you longtime listeners will know that I prefer a certain product, but this last year, after opening up a decent amount of it, because we usually don't get as much of it every year, but now we kind of get more baseball products. I think one of the best products last year was 2022 Topps Diamond Icons Baseball. I like in terms of baseball, I know you put Bowman Chrome in there. I kind of like to lump Bowman all together, like between Bowman Chrome, Bowman Draft, and Bowman regular Bowman. So like they're always good. For the most part, they're always good because there's always prospect that we are chasing in any of those products. So, and then like they never really miss with the design on that either. So I get that. But in terms of the best baseball product to me, and you guys know it's always been definitive, but last year Diamond Icon beat it. I've opened up enough Diamond Icons at this point that you get, in terms of a high end product, you get like everything that you're asking for out of that product.
Yeah,
of what you want from a high end product.
Diamond Icons was really, really good.
So I think Diamond Icons should be on that list.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd agree with putting Diamond Icons.
All right. Are we saying Diamond Icons over Bowman Chrome as our final one?
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's in.
And I know that's another high-end product, but like if we're already having a bunch of high-end products, like we got to get a high-end baseball in there to compete with NT football and flawless basketball.
I don't know. You know, honestly,
Kind of three out of 4.
3 out of 4,
I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, I don't want to say that your vote doesn't matter, but in this case,
I'm actually, I think both manufacturers pictured here should be ashamed of themselves for all of the products they came out with this year because there's nothing different. So I actually hope that in 2023 sales are down so that they'll actually create something unique in these products because literally everything this year has been vanilla. Because they didn't have to, they could just package up a turd and it sells because it's post-Pandy era and everything sells and there's nothing different.
I think
about
Doug
any
has the
of these
Disneyland blues,
No,
man. I get it.
I'm just
you
saying
go to that place and it could tear you up, man.
No.
Like
You know what, Doug? I agree with you.
Like,
and I agree with you.
You've been doing this.
But what
when
about
we've been
the
doing this
XR
for
what about
12
the live
years.
XRCs?
Yeah, I'll give them that.
I mean,
Now, I
they
guess
just
to
save
play
themselves money that way.
to Doug's point, and this is because this is kind of playing devil's advocate, but that the XRC thing only happened out of circumstance. They never would have done that if they were not pushed so far to August
but
when
it
that
still
came
was
out?
successful.
Right.
Yeah, but
don't get me wrong.
it was-
I agree.
it was a
regardless
great-
if it was like
but nonetheless.
regardless if they were forced to do it or they had to do it, whatever, it was still a good move.
It was
Yes,
awesome
100%.
it was awesome that it was in there.
Yes.
And like, I will agree with you. And you know, I open up a crap ton of products every single year across all sports. So for the most part, I agree with you. But obviously like there was highlights. Like Select Football was a highlight.
Yeah.
Diamond Icons Baseball was a highlight. Flawless Basketball, obviously, with I know that was the story was bigger than maybe the product itself because I know you don't even
And
like
that's
Flawless.
actually,
every single
I want to
year.
lean towards Flawless Basketball because of the fact that they did something different. They did a triple logo man that had never been done before. So to me, that's almost
exquisite.
like my pick because these other 4 products are all basically copycats of what they've done every single year. It's like if they were making a phone, they'd be on the Megapixel 8 for 5-6 years in a row. Like they're like, we don't need a Megapixel 9, 10, 11, 12.
But-
we'll just stick with the 8
Or
because
the
it sells.
I was going to say
at the same
iPhone,
time, you're
iPhone 14, iPhone 14R,
I have one of those.
iPhone
I have one of those.
X,
At the same time,
14X.
Doug, you're asking Topps and Panini to create another design that is as popular as what we as collectors know and love in year out, which is a tough thing to do.
Yeah, what
right?
do you want him to do, Mr. Panini?
Like,
if
I agree with you. Like,
if you were Mr. Panini, what would you do?
We could do hot boxes. We could bring those back. We can bring a box that has 17 autos. Like
17 autos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just throwing that number out there.
17 Jesse Winkers.
Yeah.
17 autos.
No, like you're breaking Bowman draft, and I know it's an issue of the machine has to make it in a certain way, and I get that's too hard to do. But like, you get your third auto in pack 3, and there's 8 packs left. There ain't nothing else in the pack. There's nothing
so.
surprising.
What if there was like an NT box out there that was just RPAs?
It's great.
Like
it's amazing.
so Doug loves the what it like the like every box that you're gonna get though like that is like amazing box in a print run. It has to come from somewhere. So you're gonna have like dud boxes. So you're okay with having dud boxes, but having like absolutely ridiculous loaded
100%.
boxes.
100%, it balances out. Or
Unless you're the person who's getting a personal box that's a dud box.
well,
Then
I mean,
it
happens anyway.
Then if you're that person, you're gonna be like, yeah, I'd really prefer if they just spread out the load.
What about
a little
case
bit.
toppers? Why can't we put gigantic cards of like
Why
game
can't-
used
no,
jerseys?
no.
Case toppers.
No,
Like
I want regular size cards.
Like,
Nobody wants a
like
card
you get
that
a game used jersey like in a frame, like out of like maybe LeBron jersey or something,
Like
you
the
know?
whole thing?
or like a big old nameplate of it.
Okay. That's kind of cool.
Dude, you've been doing this long enough that you know what the market thinks of anything that's a different size than card regular.
Okay, well then you could make a case topper that's a guaranteed 101 that when you open up the case, you know that it's a 1 of 1 of somebody. It's sitting there in the top of the case.
But it's a regular size card?
Yes.
Okay, I'm in it. I just, as long as it's not different size.
I mean, I'm just saying.
nothing small.
I
nothing big.
love this hobby, but there's not been a lot of innovations over the last 10 years.
Like
There hasn't been a lot of innovations.
Like the whole time we've been doing it.
Pretty much.
We've been innovative.
Not really.
No,
Just kidding.
we're part of the innovation.
I'm just saying, like, there's these products, Bowman every year. The only thing that's changed about Bowman is that we've created more parallels. The Select, the only thing that changed about Select was the XRCs were live. NT, what changed about NT? Nothing. There's nothing that changed about NT. Flawless, the only thing that changed is the triple.
NT is like Coors Light, man. It's perfection.
Don't need to change it.
Don't need it.
So
Just need to let it sit in the fridge and make sure the mountains get blue.
It's just let it not heat up, but let it cool down.
Let it cool down.
Let it cool down.
Let it cool down.
And
the best
I
kind of
actually will go against, and I would rather have Bowman Chrome on this list than Diamond Icons because you know what? Who's buying Diamond Icons? Nobody, because it's $4,000 a box. This is more achievable for the consumer, and the checklist that came out for Bowman Chrome was really good. We had a lot of hype. We went through all of our Bowman
It
Chrome
was a
in 1
really
week.
good checklist.
It was probably the most.
I like
hype,
how we say
but-
it's a good checklist, and we're like 4 years away from any of these players.
Yeah,
playing.
I mean, like,
Like, who knows? In 4 years, we'll know if it's a good checklist.
I
but we
will
can't
say
it's a good checklist
I will say
now.
because and I know rookies, we're not chasing rookies, but it was a great rookie class, so I think that also does help it.
doesn't hurt.
I was gonna say
over the last 6 months, which product had the most hype? Bowman Chrome.
I think
Out of all
the
of them.
argument you're making,
but also like readily available.
yeah.
I mean, they make a lot more Bowman Chrome than they make Diamond Icons.
This is my argument. This is my argument. Like I said already, Bowman Chrome, Bowman Draft, Bowman Regular. You could say that about any year, pretty much for any of those years. When we're in the moment, right? For the most part, there's always prospects, good value. A lot of guys to chase. We go sit on them for years. The reason my argument is for Diamond Icons is because when we get out of the prospect game, all baseball collectors are looking for the same big names across 40 different products, right?
Yeah.
Diamond Icons give you only the big names all in one product every single time.
But that's like saying
Not gonna be
that's like
getting
saying
a lot of
that-
Mike Trout autos out of Bowman Chrome.
But see, that statement is like saying, the best champagne is Dom Perignon, right?
Very well. I'm
but-
not a
but-
champagne drinker. Very it could be.
But
What's
Brute,
the- what's the one with the-
but Brute might have had a good year, but it's $20. You know what I'm saying? Brute might have had a good year.
Show me another product
Brute, like the
consistently where
Like the
I'm
one you get
opening
to
it.
make mimosas, basically. You know that one.
Isn't that also an aftershave?
There's also an aftershave.
You mean like
No,
like mums?
I don't just if you want to say that Diamond Icons is the best high end product of the year, I'll give that to you. Best high end product of the year.
I think it's the best baseball
What's the one with
product
the
and the
spade
best
on
high
it?
end.
Wasn't that a good one too? Didn't we have that for our 200th episode? The champagne.
You're talking champagne.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no,
what
I
product
have
is spade?
any time that I can move away from talking about sports cards and talk about, literally, I don't know anything about champagne, but I'm all, let's talk about that.
I don't know. I don't understand the champagne analogy.
No, I'm saying that there's only a select amount of people that can buy Dom P.
Okay.
And
Sure.
But Brut is readily available in the common.
But
Okay,
that doesn't make it. That doesn't make it good.
Yeah.
That just
Right.
makes it available.
My
The best,
argument.
but yeah, go ahead.
My argument is also okay. Not everybody can afford to rip diamond icons by themselves, but in a group break format, I will say there are a lot of the same baseball collectors that I see buying into our Bowman breaks that also buy into our diamond icons breaks, and they just don't buy a top team, right? Or if we do a random teams, then they have a chance at our top team or something like that. But like I'll say this, like, and this is not always the case every year for diamond icons. You guys know I prefer definitive for most years. I just prefer the design more in definitive. But this year specifically, because we are able to open up a bigger sample size because we're getting more straight from Topps. I don't know any other product where I'm doing 2 boxes at a time, but like a lot of those breaks, I'm getting like Ken Griffey, Ichiro, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, the Wander Francos, Julio Rodriguez in the same break.
Yeah, I don't do
over and over again.
We've done far less, but I think there was the last one we did that had like Ohtani, Griffey, Ichiro.
I agree. I think even last year I said Diamond Icons was getting better.
It was catching up.
It's
not
catching up.
beating it. It beat it this year.
And now I'm like, because I used to think like Diamond Icons Dynasty. I'm like, and I used to be like, I like Dynasty better. Diamond Icons, I think his kind of over like step that. I mean, I think for high end
had Dynasty yet.
No,
that's really-
but you know, I mean, it probably
It's coming.
should come out.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll probably get at least 20.
I mean, maybe. And Dynasty has been one of those. It's very similar every year. It's just a different color card. Like really, like it's like a different. It's like either
Sepia,
it's a
black and
different
white.
like shade of white.
but it's the same like patch auto.
It's the same patch auto design.
Yeah.
And that's always been a very popular product for us. But like, and I really was always like, I like Dynasty over Diamond Icons. Now I've switched over. I'm like, Diamond Icons is better than Dynasty.
So what's the next? We got the next category.
Yeah,
I know we're getting shorter on time.
Yeah,
here.
let's go. Let's get through rookies of the year. These are the best debut products. Some of these sort of
Julio Rodriguez.
reinventions of older brands, but they are new lines of products. So here they are. These are the nominees. So I've got WWE Prism, which remember how huge that was for the first
Yes,
month?
I actually
Same as
I
ours.
wanted to talk about that product too.
Yep.
I'm glad you have it on the list.
Star Wars Chrome Sapphire, another one that just blew up for the first couple of months.
Star Wars Chrome Sapphire.
Yeah,
Okay.
with the classic Series 1, Series 2 designs in Sapphire. Beautiful cards. 2021 NFL Eminence, which was another huge
That was new,
product.
yeah.
That was a new one.
I like that one.
Skybox Metal Universe Multisport. Okay.
Well,
Doug with a hot take. And now that's one where I'm like, the Multisport
Wasn't a
version,
hot take. It was
new to this
it was
year.
a sound.
It was a sound. And then I think for me, my choice, one that really took everyone by surprise, Topps Cosmic Chrome.
That one was surprising. And that might be my pick, but yeah, I wanted to, I'm full of analogies today, but I wanted to compare the Skybox Metal as like, you're sitting there, you're looking at a Lamborghini, and then when you get in, there's no seats. It's just there's no engine, no seats, no nothing.
Actually, it
Because
was. It
that's
wasn't
what it
even a
was.
Lamborghini. It was just like
Fiera.
it was converted. Yeah.
It was a Fiera.
No, it was like a Corvette, but then you got in and there was just no engine, no deck.
It was 100%. It was a body kit on a Fiera. It was a body kit on
It was
like
those guys-
It was a body kit on an 85 Fiera.
Yeah, because you looked at it and you're like, ooh, Jordan PMG. And then you're like, oh, no Jordan PMGs. I mean, they're in there.
I hit a Jordan PMG.
You did.
I did.
You did.
A true one, a retro base, or a regular?
No, the
yeah. So yeah.
And,
It was
and
still
you
cool.
didn't. No, you didn't hit one then.
All right, fine.
And honestly, the hype of it drove the price is so insane. And there's another product on that list that falls into that category. Is there's just all this huff and smoke and mirrors of how this product is so great, and then when finally people start opening it, it's like, no, it's not great. It's not great at all.
I think we this year for about half of the year was the let's reinvent the precious metal gems.
Yes.
In everything. And I think the industry was at one point like this is going to be the next thing. And then it just faded almost as quick as it came out.
When you have 0 licenses, you really, I mean, I think you feel victim to that, and then you're 3 years behind on other products, so you're probably not even putting a lot of R&D in this one. And it's just like, Tiger and Michael, I mean, are they going to continue to sell product? And not even any autos. I mean, I haven't seen a LeBron auto and a card product for like 5 years.
Yeah. I'm not as down on Skybox Metal Universe as you are. Yes, it's not the Michael Jordan and LeBron James that we want, PMG wise. It's not exactly what we want. But I do recall, 10 years ago, for the collegiate PMGs, people had the same sentiments, and they were like, "This is not the PMGs we want."
Yeah.
But they ended up going up decently as well. I don't think. I know those were still college uniforms, and LeBron was still in the St. Mary's, St. Vincent, St. Mary's jersey. But I don't think this is gonna go up crazy. But I think in time, like if they don't do this every single year, which I don't know, maybe they are, which will hurt it. If they don't do this every single year, there could be some value in like picking up some of these for pretty cheap. You know what I mean? Like I'm not super down on that product.
And it's came down to earth now. I believe it's around $200.
Like we've never lost money on the product, luckily. But it definitely was at a price that was ridiculous when it first came out. Now with that said, I know this is on your rookie debut list, and I don't know what's on your worst list. WWE Prism has got to be. I don't know if it's not necessarily the worst product from a design standpoint, but from a value standpoint, it's got to be the worst product of the year for last year.
I think they made a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I mean, have we seen a product go up as much as that one went up, and then
honestly,
and then lost 80%,
go down as fast as it went down? I mean, that was a ultimate like roller coaster ride from a monetary standpoint.
The funny thing is, I think it's another product on this list. Star Wars Chrome Sapphire had a massive boom for like 2 months, and it's basically at what it was originally selling at.
What order box is that now?
I want to say the last one I saw was like on eBay around $350 or something.
Oh,
jeez, yeah, because it was like. I remember we had conversations. We didn't want it because we had to buy it like $900, and we're like, we don't want to sell it at $1,100, because it was going to go up, And it's like, wish you would have sold it all.
Well, WWE Prism.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think we are selling boxes right now through the shop. I want to say it's about $200.
Yep. Yeah. I think I saw last price was $199. So for me, I don't know what your worst list is, but for me, and I know you guys think I'm gonna choose Mosaic, which actually Mosaic is not even close to the worst product I think last year. WWE Prism is one of the worst products from a value proposition.
Standpoint.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, I mean,
a lot of people got burned from that
Star
product.
Wars Chrome is down significantly.
But I don't think like
Sapphire. That is.
I know I understand like it was popular.
Yeah.
But I don't think people mainstream wise went in on it the same way that WWE
Definitely
Prism was.
Imagine. I mean, they had a FOTL release of WWE Prism, didn't they?
Yeah.
Imagine what people paid for that.
Oh wow, yeah.
Like,
I think it was like $1,500.
I'm pretty sure that sold out pretty quick.
Yeah, it was like $1,500 a box, I believe.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean the other ones. I mean, actually Eminence was good. I mean that was another product that went way up. I mean it's down now too. But like
Eminence
when
was
everybody
a good
was
product.
ripping it, it was all that hype, because it was like the National. They came out, people were ripping at the National. You had videos out at the National. I thought it was great at
First
the price
year.
it came out at, but then when it got to like $30,000, it was like the singles were not selling that much. So I think I got to go Cosmic Chrome on that. So
For best rookie debut product.
for me, but add whatever you guys want to add into it. So. Story of the year, is that what we got next?
Story of the year is next. Yeah, story of the year. I think this one, not too much debate, but I think we can go with Fanatics and Topps. That first of all, a deal that was finalized a year ago today, actually. Which
In
is
January.
kind of, yeah, it actually,
No.
the final, the announcement of it was fall of
I feel
2020.
like it's been about a decade now.
I know it does, right? The fall of 2021, it was announced, but
Yes, I don't
finalized
think-
January
Does that
4th.
count as a story if they announced it the year before?
I will say, what to me the story is the Fanatics Topps deal finalizing, and then them swooping in and acquiring other major licenses throughout the years, and the first year of them as sort of a sole entity together.
Fair enough.
The LeBron
Yeah.
triple logo man chase, I think you got to include that.
That was a
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. Oh, God, I didn't even include G.I.
Oh, I
Joe. You're
forgot about the
right.
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
Okay, G.I. Joe might have to be on the list. Breakers behaving badly. Present company not included. But there was a lot of stories. Platinum
lot of
that we
shenanigans.
talked about.
In the
There,
hobby, not even just breakers, but hobbies in general, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
with like an incident with a box cutter.
Yeah, but exactly.
I mean,
a lot of
there's a
stuff.
lot.
Gold
There was a lot of
kaboom.
There's a lot of stuff. Man, what a time.
Dipping. All of that stuff.
Oh, you dip.
There was a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
there was a
there's-
lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of good.
The grading thing was a huge
Yeah,
scandal last
I mean
year.
a lot of
Yep.
stuff that we were fortunate enough to be able to talk about.
Have I mentioned-
just
I
a
think
lot, a lot of low hanging fruit that we were able
Yeah.
to have a lot of segments on.
We mentioned. Let's see, what else did I mention? The Mickey Mantle card setting a brand new record. Insane. I don't know if there's much we can say about it, so I don't know if it go. But you have to mention
There's
it.
a story.
But to me, the LeBron triple logo man chase to me is the story of the
I mean,
year.
there was a lot of it was like an onion. There was a lot of layers to peel back with that story. There was a
Because-
lot.
yeah.
There was a lot going on.
It's
like,
LeBron. Drake gets involved. That's where it was crazy. Where I remember still being on that plane, being in the airport. The same.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you also had like what a Lamborghini bounty.
Right.
You had an online platform that was doing a bounty that had a yellow Lamborghini attached to it.
Truly,
There's
one
a
of
lot.
the
There's a lot.
one of the craziest nights ever is being at the airport, going home from Vegas from the Mint, and
The slap.
we're seeing the slap and Drake going live with Ken Golden happening simultaneously as we're getting on the airplane. Was like,
To come home
what
from the mint.
is happening right
Yeah.
now?
The Will Smith slap on Chris Rock at the same moment that Drake was on live with
that's
Ken Golden.
That's right. Because
Exact same
I'm
time.
sitting there going like, "What are you guys talking about?"
Yeah, 'cause
And
you drove home.
I was in a car. I was
Yeah,
driving.
we're all freaking out. We're like, "This, like, you seeing this happening right now?" Like, and then I was like, "Yeah, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock." You're like, "Well, huh? What?" No. I'm talking about Ken Golden and Drake. That's what I'm talking about.
It's a lot to digest.
And I think that you see the sign there if you're watching. There was a dip this year, and you dip and all that became a thing. So I think it's worth mentioning for story of the year. So what do you guys think?
Also a band, correct?
What's that? Dip.
Story of the year.
A story of the
yeah,
year.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
they
till
were
the
a
day I
band.
die.
They were definitely a band. They were definitely a band. What do you guys think? Story of the year for the hobby.
I agree with you. When I look back on last year, and there was a lot of headlines. Like, we're talking about a lot of fall off from the top of our hobby, right? That we've ever seen, an explosion in the hobby. Last year there was a lot of fallout from it, and I think the biggest stories granted, it came at the beginning of the year pretty much. It was that flawless LeBron logo man chase. It got a lot of mainstream. In terms of like our hobby, there was a lot of stuff that like maybe more people in our hobby cared about. But in terms of like mainstream press, as well as the hobby, it's got to be that everybody was chasing that logo man LeBron.
I would say that was probably in the hobby the biggest story. Again, there was like a lot of layers to that story. Like I said before, there was like the bounties that were on it. There was the Drake involved in it, trying to rip some flawless. There was the fact that the product went absolutely through the roof when everybody was chasing
way
it.
more than it's ever been.
Ever
Not
been.
even
Breaks.
close.
Yeah, and
I mean, us being in Vegas that week, it also magnified everything. Like, it was the peak of the craziness with the break, with Drake, with just everything. I mean, we did stuff at the Mint that weekend, and just being in Vegas just magnified everything where you realize this is the golden ticket chase. This
I
is
think
insane.
a lot of another thing that would have been a good story, like story of the year. I mean, it's a lot more than just one story, but a lot of hobby litigation, like some people suing some people, stuff like that. Which there's a lot of different stories that are attached to that, but I don't recall. There's always like manufacturers that will tend to sue each other on like something like trademark infringement or something like that. But you have like influencers going after other influencers, which is something that we haven't seen.
I mean,
the past.
even just saying like influencers in the hobby, that's a fairly new thing as well, right? Like we've
Over the last couple
content
years,
creators is like and influencers have just come into the frame like
And they're
within the
starting
last
to walk
couple of
their
years.
way out the door as well.
Yeah.
Question for you guys: is Champagne Poppy, is he a brute guy or is he a Dom P?
Well, he's not a brute.
Probably
Okay.
Don P.
Don P.
I mean, again, we don't know.
Definitely a Dom P.
Dom P guy.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
Drake, Champagne Poppy, a.k.a., doesn't seem to collect cards. Did he think it was just too nerdy, or was it just literally that one card he wanted?
I think he went the way of Gary Vee.
My,
They went down the same path. Like, it was very hip, very popular, and then it's just all of a sudden on to the next
well,
thing.
Gary Vee called out that the hobby was gonna have this explosion years before it happened. Drake just came in, and I think literally Drake, obviously he's a huge sport guy, basketball guy specifically. He saw that there's an opportunity to own a very rare LeBron memorabilia collectible.
So you think he was only after
He was
guy?
after the LeBron. Like he's not a card.
But he was
collector.
ripping.
He's not Logan Paul that loves Pokemon.
But
when
he was
a
ripping
kid.
86 Fleer for Jordans.
Yeah, but that's probably brought on by Ken Golden and all them. Like they're like, oh, you want to also rip to try to get some Jordans? And Drake was like, sure, dude. Drake was here for the LeBron triple logo man, and that's it. Whereas somebody like Logan Paul, he loved Pokemon when he was a kid, and he drove that market up insanely too. But he actually came from a place of like he actually liked Pokemon and all that.
So with the success of the Panini Flawless Triple Logo Man, and we're gonna have Flawless coming out within
I
probably the
think.
next 6 months, maybe.
think.
You hope.
Do we see another LeBron Triple Logo
No.
Man? And if so, how does that affect the
I would
OG?
hope they would at least take a year off and maybe make a.
I do not think we're gonna see another.
You know
one.
what'd be
I
cool?
think I think we will.
They need to do like a Kobe or something different. That's,
How much? We should bet. We should like that's something I can get behind, like a little bet. Like, do you think they make a LeBron Triple Logo Man because it was so successful? I think this industry, if a manufacturer does something that catches everybody's eyeballs and becomes like pop culture, they're gonna try to do it again.
I think they have to do something.
For
Four of 'em.
a quad logo man,
Like-
2 on the front, 2 on the back.
one from St. Vincent, St. Mary's.
And which we've seen Panini do the shields back to back with 4 of them, 2 on the front, 2 in the back. So
What?
it's not like out of the realm of
What if
possibility.
they did this? What if they did a Logo Man set, but it was from a specific finals game, and it was a finals Logo Man set, and it would actually it's dated, like we've always talked about, like authentic and dated game used relics.
Yeah.
Like what if you can get a Steph Curry from last year's finals game 4? And it's from that
I
specific.
think you got a
thing.
break, right? Coming up.
Oh, do I?
Is it 5
Oh,
o'clock?
yep, I sure do.
I just want to mention real quick. I didn't make the list, but did you guys hear about the Luka Logo Man?
Yeah. Shine
Bought it back.
Shine bought it back.
So
he
is
actually.
there- are we concerned that there's any hanky panky? I know it's PWCC.
I believe Shine ended up making like what $1 million on it.
So he bought the card originally, and I'm not
400K.
for 400-ish K. I think it was 425. Sold it for 4.6, and then bought it back for 3.1.
Mhm.
It's crazy to me.
So he let that guy hold it from him while he made $1 million for
If
it.
Shine isn't in this industry, is literally Shine jumped up a bunch of cards?
Is he propping up this entire industry? Oh God, I don't even want. I
And-
hate
and
that
we-
I
and
just
we
put
don't
that
even
into
know what
the
he-
ether.
I mean, according to the ESPN article, he said he did investments.
A little bit of this, a little bit of
Yeah,
that.
he did.
You know what I'm saying?
Investments.
He invested in Luka. Logo Man.
Yeah, but like
That's what he did.
you don't just have like, oh, let me just pull $3 million.
He invested in Nunya, as in Nunya Business Incorporated.
pretty much.
What Twix you got there?
Cookie dough.
Ooh,
Sweet.
what? Didn't know that existed.
I
Oh
know,
my
that's-
God.
Oh man.
It's pretty good.
Well,
I want to diet too.
God,
so.
I know. It's like, am I really going to break my
New
New
Year's
Year's resolution
resolution
this quickly? Yes, I am. Of
So
course I
before-
4
am.
days in, cookie
So
dough Twix.
I'm about to go break, so you guys probably have to do the next segment without me. You're gonna do the worst products or whatever, right?
We
Well,
got Hobby Star of the
Hobby
Year
Star of the
and
Year.
Worst Product of the Year.
Okay, so
Who's your Hobby Star of the Year without looking at the slide?
hobby star of the year.
Athlete. Think of a currently playing athlete. Which one defined collecting in 2022?
It's hardest to not say that LeBron because of the logo, right?
Right.
If it's not LeBron James, I will go with Josh Allen.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay.
I mean,
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Okay.
he didn't make it on the list, but I could definitely see him being on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the guys that went on him originally, it paid off for them big time last year.
That's true.
And they had to wait a couple of years for that too.
Yeah.
And then for worst product of the year, I'm just gonna put this out there, and I think it came out right before New Year's, so I can actually put this on the list. This is the worst product of 2022, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
already know what you're going to say.
2022 Panini Capstone Basketball, and I'm about to go. Sorry.
Baseball.
Capstone.
It doesn't matter what its name is.
Roll it back. 2022 Panini Capstone Baseball is the worst product of 2022, and I have to go break it right now.
You alluded to it. Hobby stars of the year. I decided to go with guys who are currently playing because I almost put Mickey Mantle on this list because of the sale, but that didn't seem fair. But guys who are currently playing, LeBron James is on the list because of the triple logo man. You're starting to notice a trend. Messi after winning the World Cup.
Ooh.
Julio Rodriguez, huge rookie season. Trevor Lawrence, a huge second year and definitely has taken the throne as the 2021 QB. Aaron Judge, mostly because, one, his cards did skyrocket this year, but I think from a collectible standpoint, he re-energized that market.
I don't talk about that guy.
Yeah, we don't talk about him.
Who?
Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
Arson?
And Arson Judge. Jalen Hurts. I know you mentioned Josh Allen, but I would argue Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, maybe the two guys who saw their stock go up the most.
Yeah, I was
going to
say you could have been buying Jalen Hurts cards for a small fraction of what they're going for now.
Easily.
Yeah, and you had a window for Tua too.
You could have if you were purchasing Hurts at the right time, and you just had a stockpile of them, you're doing well right now.
Yeah.
And I would say, I know right now they're the first seed. I would sell right now. I would sell your Jalen Hurts right now.
Is he still the MVP even though he's been out for this many weeks?
I think so.
I don't know if they are going to make a big run or a long run in the playoffs, being that he still is so young. Like, you kind of need – you look at, the guys like Mahomes and Allen. They've, kind of taken their lumps in their first couple, playoff appearances – and didn't just go straight to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I also threw Cade Cunningham on here. It's almost sort of a just hey, he was the rookie from the last year, but definitely I think we can agree not quite the rookie chase that we had the last couple of years, but he was the guy, so I had to throw him in.
I think it's clearly there's one guy on here that has 414 million followers on Instagram. And so it's very clear. And he plays, big games every 4 years. It's Leo Messi. It's clearly Leo Messi for me. Just because the mass appeal, the Mr. Worldwide, I mean, he's Mr. World. I know there's a rapper named Mr. Worldwide, but he's Mr. Worldwide. And, his cards go for a minimum of a lot of money, and the chase is there. You had the World Cup products. You still have some more World Cup products coming out. I mean, Eminence just came out. I think to me, clearly Leo Messi.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. But what is if you're buying Messi cards right now? It will be a steady investment, I guess, but there's nothing that he's really going to do that's going to increase his value.
Too far away from his rookie year. That's the only downfall here.
What he achieved in the World Cup this year was the best thing that could happen to his card market. But if you were not prospecting or investing early on, then the boat's it's left the dock at this point.
And if I had to do a second, I would say Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence for this hobby is almost in the Luka territory. When a guy gets named the guy and then he actually delivers. And that's what Trevor Lawrence is doing. He's going to be in the playoffs.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. You got to beat the Titans with
R.
Joshua Dobbs. I mean, his stock will fall really fast if he doesn't. But I think we already
who's buying R. Dot right now? R. Dot, Joshua Dobbs. Who is there a buy opportunity there?
Yeah, his parents are buying it. That's probably about
Former
it.
Steeler.
Is there a buy opportunity?
No.
Him and Jarrett Stidham.
I actually
On-card
think
autos.
yes, Trevor Lawrence's stuff would go down, but I would actually argue that's a great time to buy if they don't make the playoffs because
I
I
it's
think
not
the
his
season
fault.
is a success already.
I think Lawrence is my number one pick for this segment. I also think that he is a good buy now, and I think that team is going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next 5 years. I think they are only going to get better.
Yeah.
They are only going to get better through the draft. They have, Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is going to be on that team next year. Lawrence automatically gets a 1, maybe a 2 receiver, depending on where you put him. Man, I think out of all those 21 rookies, like quarterback rookies, that the greatest quarterback rookie class that we were touting last year in the history of the hobby, it doesn't really look like that way now. Trevor Lawrence is going to be a perennial Pro Bowler.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't disagree there. I think that's a pretty safe.
He's a winner.
I don't want to use investment advice, but
I said it 14 times this episode.
did you?
Yeah.
Bye.
If you say it 5 more times, I'm going to cut the show.
I do think you were saying, Dan, that Jalen Hurts, from where he was at the beginning to where he was now, I think there's a really good argument to be made that he is the guy just because of his rise.
I bought. I don't even. We probably put it in a buyback because sometimes, like we do. I bought at the Colorado show that we were at, the first one that we went to. I bought was it Chronicles that had the Prism Black, the Prism like the first year of Prism Black.
Yeah.
I bought a rookie Prism Black auto of Jalen Hurts for like
Nothing.
$40.
Jeez.
Probably in a buyback somewhere,
Probably.
and but that would have been a good one to hold on to. That's probably worth more than $40 now.
Hey, I bought the Trevor Lawrence Gala number 8. I have that somewhere. It's over there on the table. Worst product of the year, I think we could, we did just label it our good friends over at Superbreak as far as the worst products of the year. I think you can throw Leaf in there too. I mean,
What, just across the board?
I think so. I think
No, but we're not even going.
a specific product.
We're not even going specific product anymore. We're just going manufacture.
I just think that their products have copied a lot of other designs.
You didn't do anything you like?
No.
Pop Century, we all like Pop Century,
I
didn't
like
we?
Pop Century.
Yeah, come on.
I like that.
I mean, the only one thing that I do like is that the newest product that came out does have a Brock Purdy in every case. That's pretty cool.
Oh, Super Break, we're talking.
Yeah, Super Break.
well.
Super
I was talking about Leaf.
Leaf. Yeah. That's why I can't mention Leaf. The NIL products of Leaf sucked. I mean, like the Pro Set basketball, the soccer, like those kind of things. But like the Pop Century, the
I like the
exotic wasn't bad.
Exotic was actually pretty good.
Like the multi-sport products were really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you can go back to your
Super
regular
Break,
scheduled program of bashing Super Break.
I just, I think obviously we watched a broadcast on Loop, and it seemed like some of the stuff was like a little fishy, a little bit loaded on the boxes. The designs, I will give them this. They moved from the kitchen table of cutting like the jersey pieces to an actual, maybe they have something that makes the cards now. So I will give them that, but they have copied the National Treasures design. They've copied the Super Fractor design. I don't believe there's a whole lot of transparency with their company. We've seen that. I don't know who's in charge there now because we haven't broken their product for years. I feel bad because we're picking on 2 like low-level manufacturers, right? Like we're not even like
I'm
like
not.
these guys,
I haven't really said anything yet.
No, you do.
I think it's mostly. If they want to get mad, they could just get mad at Doug because
just throw me in the cage, throw me in the octagon. So are you going to say the best product of the year, Super Break?
No.
You don't do the opposite of both?
No, I can't.
No?
I mean, we do love taking the hot take here, but that's a little too hot for me to step into.
Mac Jones with a cigar in his mouth is not.
Nope, that's a bad one.
Pudgy.
And I think you give them a lot of credit because you said they're cutting the relic pieces. I think they're just tearing them with their teeth. just rip a piece right off and get a nice little Elmer's glue stick and throw that in a little construction paper.
Done. Their sell sheets are. I wonder if their sell sheets have gotten any better. I'm on their website. This is the most I've looked at their website. See, they actually show off the Shaq thing.
Shaq Black?
Yeah, the Shaq Black. They do show that off. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's a new year. It's time for fresh starts. Maybe this is the year where it doesn't make. Maybe January of
Spit it
2024.
out, Cody. What are you saying? This is the year of Super Break?
This is the year of. Maybe January 2024. We're here and we're like, you know what? It's not the worst of the year. Good job.
I think the year of Super 2014.
Yeah, that was the.
maybe-
They were on
maybe
ESPN.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Yasiel Puig card.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. You know,
All right, I
how
mean-
many breakers were around that were ripping product looking for Yasiel Puig? We were.
Can we throw? Yeah, I know we were. Mosaic baseball.
You can throw it in. C-Rad would want to.
Mosaic baseball, pretty bad. There's
Did
not
it-
a lot
did
of.
it- did- it
not a
did-
lot of
it-
Panini baseball
It did.
products.
It did come out this year, right?
It did.
I mean, it
There's
was
the choice version.
Just
too.
barely.
Yeah, light.
Panini does. I mean, with National Treasures, baseball hasn't come out yet, but there is a market for Panini baseball. I mean, I think we talked about Optic. Optic is a good.
Optic baseball is good.
Optic baseball is a good release.
Yeah. And I think NT baseball, I think the high-end baseball is usually pretty good, too.
Yeah, at the right price point.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
I think NT and Immaculate, solid values for what you can get. I think Flawless is tough at times.
3 and 2, that new one, that was just okay.
It was okay. It
was
wasn't
okay.
bad.
Wasn't
I like,
terrible. I don't
I'm a
think-
sucker for an encased card.
I don't think it was needed.
No.
I don't. I think there was a couple baseball releases that came out from Panini that I don't think we were begging for.
A lot of people will throw Chronicles Draft Picks basketball in the mix too. I mean, I didn't think it was that bad though.
How about Select Draft Football?
The only
Brock
place
Purdy.
where you
I
get
don't.
Brock Purdy.
It doesn't matter that they had Brock
Yeah,
Purdy.
I know.
It doesn't matter that they had Brock Purdy in there. What if they didn't?
Then it would be bad.
Then it'd be
worse
bad.
Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
They got lucky. They got lucky. let's be
I
honest.
look at that, and the only reason why Brock Purdy's in there is because the checklist is so big. So
Oh, it worked out.
I would throw it in there as, again, it's not like the worst product. It's just the most unnecessary product. Does that make sense?
Yeah, disappointing, unnecessary, maybe
Unnecessary.
A
And
better
I mean, I could rattle off 20
Well,
of them,
Capstone's
but-
definitely. I mean, I don't disagree with C-Rat, and I haven't even opened it. I actually looked at the box and I was like, this is gonna be a terrible product. So, and then he basically vilified that. So, Capstone baseball, worst basketball product of the year.
Leaf metal basketball.
Well, yeah, yeah. Worst hockey product.
wanna be-
Series 1.
Wish there
no
was,
hits?
Wish there were enough to justify us.
Yeah, there isn't even enough.
Extended series.
Yeah, we gotta stop doing the extended.
Extended series. We didn't need it. Like we did. I don't even know if we need two series, like a series 1 and series 2 of hockey. We definitely don't need an extended series. We don't need like an update series of hockey. The hockey market can't sustain it.
Less extended series, more the cup.
Could we just make like a series 1, series 2, one release, just flagship and release it later on? Like
I think they have to have the series 2 because the players play later in the season, right?
Yeah.
But can they just release it later? Like, release Series 1 and Series 2 when you're going to release Series 2
Altogether.
altogether. Just make one big set.
Maybe you open the case and you get half of each. You know, it's like 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have to have enough paper to make these.
I think the one thing that we can basically say is extended series.
yeah. I mean,
unnecessary.
they are real close to Legoland. Maybe that's why they don't make as many products. They're just hanging out at Legoland. But you know, we'll have
get
to
it.
see. You know,
I
haven't been, so maybe I'll never leave.
Never been to Legoland.
Never been.
I want to check that out and do the zoo. I've already done the zoo, but do the zoo at the same time.
At the same time as Legoland, like
No,
how you gonna
at the
just
same trip.
Yeah,
Same
okay.
trip.
I was
Same
like,
trip.
you're gonna run back and forth.
Yeah, go back.
Legoland in Carlsbad, if I'm not mistaken. not
yeah.
in San
Yeah,
Diego.
and that's
proper.
where the home
that-
of
that's the home of Upper Deck.
home of
Yep,
Upper Deck.
Yep.
It's actually in Legoland.
There you go.
No, it's
Lego cards coming soon.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Well, and if you guys got the worst product of the year, we want to know. Also, the best product of the year. What did you find the most fun ripping or chasing or whatever you may do in this hobby? What did you like the most in 2022? What was the biggest story of 2022? We will revisit this. We'll also have this on social, Mojobreak_com on Twitter or Mojobreak Media on Twitter. Same thing with Instagram as well. Comment and interact and join the Mojobreak Media or Mojobreak the Hype podcast community on Facebook, and just put in your comments, and we want to know. We want to see what maybe there's something we missed, and we'll see you guys next week on The Hype. Peace.